What's up, everybody? Gonna try this out. Do a tier list for the new commanders. For Tarkir Dragonstorm, we're not doing the like the commander version of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Just the 16 in the OG. We might do another one with the new ones, the other ones. But yeah, real quick, we'll just break down what each of the tiers mean. So S tier is you got to kill the player. Like the commander is a threat, obviously, if it comes down, but even without the commander, either the deck itself is just threatening, and the commander is just going to help it win more, or the deck is designed to get the commander out and do what the commander is going to do to win the game. Think original Narset. You have to have Narset out, obviously, in order to win that game, but the entire deck is designed to get Narset out and swinging. So Narset, the original from uh, I don't remember Khans of Tarkir would be an S tier deck. Uh, A tier decks are just decks that where it's obviously a step down. It's when the commander's on the field, that's very scary. If the commander's not on the field, it's not so scary. The deck is going to struggle, and we're gonna have a beautiful example of this placement soon in this video. B tier is, I mean, I'm gonna kill the commander if I can, based on threat and board presence. But like, I'm not freaking out if your commander's here or on the field. Um, C tier is, I mean, the commander doesn't add too much to the game. You're either playing it because you like the idea, you want to try it out, or you're in those colors, or you're trying to do something kind of janky, which may or may not work. Uh, yeah. And then D tier is just trash. Either it could be a good card, but it's just not meant to be a commander, or just not meant for the commander format. Um, but yeah, so with that, we'll just go through each commander. There's 16 of them. So we have up first Anafenza. They're just in alphabetical order, so no particular. Uh, so Anafenza, unyielding lineage, 3-drop, 2/2. She has flash, cool. First strike, cool. But her main ability is whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Anafenza endures 2, which means to put 2+1+ counters on it, or create a 2/2 white spirit creature token. I like this a lot because I can either go, it can fit different archetypes, and I think that's cool. You can do tokens, you can do +1/+1 counters, you could do a mix. Um, if you sit down, I'm not scared. Obviously the deck is going to revolve around her a little bit more, but I think it can function well, unless you're doing like a Voltron deck. Uh, it can function well without her, but it's not going to be like so crazy powerful. She's not coming out and just whacking the field, I think. So for her, I am going to put her in B. Just solid. B solid, that's like neutral. It's middle of the ground. Fun commander decks are at B. Higher power levels are obviously at A. And like CEDH or like premium, right under CEDH, like the bracket 4, the one that people are like, oh god, you brought that thing. That's going to be S. So B's like middle of the road. These are fun games because they're just, let me do what my commander does and see. All commanders fun though, so I don't know if I want to play a pod of D's, but alright, so we'll go on to Betor, kin to all. He is a 5-drop, 5/7, which is pretty significant stats right there. He's flying, because he's a dragon. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. He's providing 7 right off the bat, so that's you know. Then, if creatures you control have total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Don't like that. Then, if creatures you control have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life, rounded up. That is redonkulous. Um, I don't want this guy on the field. If you play this guy, I'm not really afraid of your deck, but I'm absolutely afraid of your commander because these are colors that it's easy to get 40 toughness, especially if you're doing like high-end creatures, which Black's gonna let you search for, and green's gonna let you search for and ramp for. So I'm not trying to have you untap your creatures. 20 is really easy to get to. 40 I think is gonna be hard to get to, but if you get to 40, we've got problems, and you're probably gonna win. So I don't want this guy on the field at all. I'm gonna kill this guy every time you try to bring him out, and so that's gonna make him an A tier. So we'll put him right up here for A, and then we'll move on to Ishiki. Dragonclaw? I'm gonna butcher these names. You guys already know that by now, so just endure with me. Um, she's a 4/4, solid. Uh, for 4 mana, solid. Vigilant, Trample, Ward, solid. Those are all very interesting together. That's great. She says at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2+1/+1 counters on Ishiki Dragonclaw. I don't really like this. I think this is gimmicky, which would normally have me put it uh, in the C tier. But I think she's a really good Voltron deck, and she will get that. I mean, there are going to be times when you can get a creature and a non-creature spell off at the same time in the same turn. So she will get that. I don't think the ability is going to make or break the game unless you're abusing it, which I'm sure people can find. If you're abusing that and protecting her, she could easily be an A tier. Um, but as far as like how I think of her, I think she's a solid B, with the potential to go A. Um, yeah. Next up we have Fel Felithar, Dawn of the Abzan. He's a cheap commander to play, just needs one of each color, so potentially turn one or not one. I guess one. I guess potentially. 2/3 easy. Depending on your mana and your ramp. 3/3 not bad. Trample. Trample's good, but not really on a 3. Whenever he attacks or enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Um, I think this I think this guy's an A tier. I don't want him on the field. Um, if the his ability doesn't seem good unless you consider tokens. Abzan is the best colors for tokens. All three of these colors. White, obviously. Green's got some. Black's got some. Uh, this is a gross token deck that can turn him into the powerhouse. So any token deck that can go wide, which means put a bunch of tokens down, and then also go strong or powerful or make him like one powerful creature, that's really scary because they're going wide and with a big threat, and that's a very scary uh, army to deal with. So I think he's a solid A. He could get up to S, I think, depending on how you build the deck. But I think he's a solid A. A lot of these guys, because Commander, you can build your decks differently. Um, you could scale up or down. I would say plus one, plus one letter, down one letter. An A can be an S or a B depending on how you really build the deck. But these are just like general, like off the cuff, without having seen them in action, without having done a massive amount of research on the decks and seeing how they interact. These are just my first takes. This guy is a great example of why if you go to the EDH rec and you look at you can go to I'll show you actually. If you just EDH rec, I didn't spell that right, but it's got me, and I'm so zoomed in. I don't really want to zoom out. So if you go to sets, you can actually look up the listings for I'm all right. I'm zoomed out. I'm zoomed in. Okay, you can actually look through. You can see that Coetus is the number one built deck so far on EDH Rec. Now, that doesn't mean that he's an automatic S tier, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why instead of being S tier, this guy is an A tier. So 4 mana, he's a 2/1. Those aren't great stats, but he's indestructible, so really hard to get rid of. So we'll take a 2/1. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of their library. X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Okay, so basically, I hit you and I get to look at X number of cards based on how strong this guy is, and then I can, start playing those. And it's not till end of is it till end of turn? No, it's not till end of turn. So as long as I keep this guy alive, who's already indestructible, there's not a whole lot of ways to kill him. There are ways, but not a lot. Um, if you build this guy Voltron, which means that you put a bunch of stuff on him to make him stronger and give him protection and all that stuff, this is a really, really mean deck. This deck can get out of control. I'm going to use your stuff against you. Um, he comes out 4, so he comes out really fast. Blue is going to give me some protection spells. This can be a really gross deck, and the only reason why he's not S is because without him on the field, the deck doesn't do anything, and I don't think that the deck is going to function super well without him being on the field. And like I mentioned Narset and Light and Master from Cons of Tarkir, and the difference between them and this is if Narset swings once, the game's probably over. I can swing one time with Narset and win the game. I cannot do that with this guy. If I could, then he would absolutely be an S tier. But for me, I'm gonna put him in A, and I know that was a very long-winded explanation of that, but I want to try to explain like why I'm putting them where they are and like the difference between an S and an A because there's not a lot of S's in here. Um, but A's are good. You don't really need like I think S's are, if everybody's playing S is great, but if I'm playing an S and you're playing a B or a C, it's not gonna feel good. So this is the new Narset, Jeskai Waymaster. She costs 3. She's cheap, 3/4. It's okay. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you cast this turn. Okay, this is janky. Janky, gimmicky. It's a cheap card with okay stats. Um, I do think in these colors you can definitely create a lot of weird storm combo. Oh, look here. It says if you look here, it says she's CE EDH worthy. That means you're building very specifically, and I actually want to see that. Um, so I'm gonna look at that later. Uh, that might that so if she's CEDH, then that means she can absolutely beat S tier. But I think for like storm decks, you got spell slingers, combos. So I see storm and combos being the most generic way to build her. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give her a B. If she's on the battlefield, she is scary. I mean, you obviously don't want a commander like this on the battlefield, but like unless I see you going off or I know you can go off, I'm not really scared of her. She probably should be A or S. Um, I'm gonna change it. I have in my notes that I had her as a B, but I'm gonna go ahead and put her as an A. I think seeing that she has a CEH tag means that I might have misjudged her, and these colors can get a little wonky. I do think she's very gimmicky. Um, yeah, I would just keep this commander off the field as often as possible. All right, this guy, Ner Neriv, Heart of the Storm. He's a 4-drop, 4/5, flying. If a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. Um, I initially put this guy as like a C, but I did just a little bit of research, and actually this guy is crazy. This guy is he, you'd think that you're not going to get a whole lot of stuff off unless you have haste on a creature. But there's a lot of ways to give creatures haste, and there's a lot of ways, especially with like the old Mardu with dash. You can bring a creature in, swing with quick, put them back in your hand, and do it again on the next turn. And then with mobilization being a thing which we'll talk about a little bit later, this guy can be an absolute monster. And if he's on the field, that's really scary. But if he's not on the field, the deck is still going hard with this idea of just absolute aggro. And you're not going to have a lot of time to set up with this guy on the table. He's ready to just clean house as quickly as possible. He's trying to get to the next game. And so I think because of that, he's a danger on the field. He's a danger off the field. So I'm going to make him an S tier. He's absolutely a monster. Next up, we have Sarkhan, sorry, Dragon Ascendant. He's a 2-drop for 2/2. When he enters, you may behold a dragon. If you do, create a treasure token. It's fine. Whenever a dragon you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan. Until end of turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon in addition to his other types. So obviously the first ability is just kind of like it's just there. It's nice. Uh, he comes out really fast. Uh, there's a lot of dragon options. I mean, you could basically just make him the commander and nothing but dragon creatures, and you'd be solid. Um, so this guy this guy needs to die before he can go off. Just him coming to the table, like just your opponent putting him on the board is not the end of the world. But if this guy gets built up, it could be. So I want this guy dead before my opponent gets a chance to make him like a 30/30, and then like jam some stuff on him and just make him gross. So I'm gonna say that he's an A tier just because I want him dead, right off the rip. And the rest of the deck is gonna be fine, but it's not gonna be backbreaking to play. Um, moving on, we got Shiko, Paragon of the Way. Um, Spirit Dragon 4/5, nice. Flying Vigilance. When Shiko enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy it, then you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Okay, in Jeskai colors, this is really gross. I think this is a really gross card. If they're able to flicker this thing, which they have a lot of ways to do that between blue and white, this card can get absolutely out of hand. I don't want to see what kind of janky shenanigan stuff you're going to pull and bring to the table. What if I let this guy live? So I don't really care what your deck is going to do otherwise, but I definitely don't want you on the table, so I'm putting him at A. I need this commander to not be around so that you can do your shenanigans. Moving on to CDC. He's a 2/2 for 1/3. You tap, sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than CDC. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to your battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay. I don't like this card at all. Um, he's mono black with a very restricted ability. Can only be used as a sorcery. Can't use him. Has to You have to have a creature in your graveyard that is um, 1 mana higher in value than the sacrifice, which means you've got to set it up. You've got to do a lot of planning to get this guy off. I think this will be a deck that people will play to have fun with and do like some fun like necromancy stuff, which is fun but not very powerful. I'm gonna give this guy a C. He's our first C. All right, sorry CDC. You've had your time, right? Yeah, he's at his time. CDC, the old he's at his time. All right, we'll move on to Surok. Um, Surok, Elusive Hunter is a 3-drop 4/3. This is not bad. This spell can't be countered. That's fun. Trample on a 4. It's not bad. Whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. This is a really fun ability, but I don't really care. It's not backbreaking. It does look cool. The antlers are cool. The foil with the antlers are all really cool. But I don't think it's a very powerful trigger. CMC with 3 CMC with trample is pretty nice. And it can be a unique Voltron deck. There's a CEDH down here, but I don't think so. There's only one, potentially, maybe. I don't see it. I'm not a very big CEDH player, but I don't think that mono green. I don't think this guy is going to to have it. But that's just me. I think personally he's a C. Um, he's not trash. He'll be fun to play, but I don't, it's a weird Voltron. I'm not lining up for it. Uh, Tygam, Master Opportunities. He's a 2-drop, 2/2. Flurry. Whatever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Okay, I don't think this guy is CEDH worthy, and they have CEDH down here. So this just goes to show that just because it's down here, um, an EDH Rex, that again, I don't know the format. I did talk to some. I did think initially he was a CEDH player, so I reached out to some friends of mine who play that religiously, and they were like, "Nah, he's not even close." Uh, so just the fact that they have CEDH on here doesn't necessarily mean he is that powerful. Personally, I don't think he's insanely powerful. 4 turns is a lot. I would kill this guy I would kill him if he hit the battlefield, just because I know blue can do some shenanigans and I don't want to deal with it. And I don't want to have to keep up with the suspend. If you're suspending a bunch of stuff, and then I have to like factor that in, I don't want to do that. So if I can, I'm gonna kill you first, or I'm gonna kill the commander first. But over everything else we have in A, uh, I don't know. I think I would kill everything else before him. I'll give it to him. I'll make him an A. I don't think he's CEDH. I'm not worried about his deck whatsoever. I'm just worried about him and the shenanigans that the deck that uses him as a commander is going to do. So we'll just kill him, hose that guy down. They're probably not doing anything without their commander, so that's solid. Um, all right, Tursa Light Shatter, Orc Wizard, hilarious. 3-drop, 3/3 with haste. When he enters, discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. When he attacks, or she, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard. You may play that card this turn. Okay, absolutely don't like this card. I think it's an okay card in other formats, but if you're running this as commander, I think you're doing some fun stuff. Chaos, I see chaos down here, which yes, um, but I don't. I'm not. Please sit down, and please sit down and play a game with me. If you're running this guy, because I'm just not gonna be afraid of him at all. I think he's trash, honestly. So we're gonna go ahead and put him in D. Um, no hate. It's a good card, just not for commander. Not as a commander. I think it would do well in a deck. But no, that's where I'm at. Next up we have Tavel, Arbiter of Virtue. He's a 5-drop, 6/6, which is big. Flying, lifelink. Spells you cast have delve, which is awesome. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. Okay, well, it's a very powerful effect. It's a strong creature with lifelink to offset the life loss. Um, if a player can establish themselves, they're gonna win the game with this guy. It is a very powerful deck, and being able to kind of self mill a little bit to get some really good stuff. The lifelink, giving back the life I'm losing. It's really high stats. A 6/6 is pretty big. Doesn't seem like big in Commander, but 6/6 is really big. Look at all the other commanders we've looked at. I don't think any of them have been 6/6. Some of them have had like 7 toughness, but like under 5 power. But this guy, he's definitely bringing it. Flying is going to help him dodge some stuff. Also, and this doesn't have anything to do with the power, but just look at that flavor text. As you act, so shall you be judged. Oh, look at that guy quoting Matthew. Um, so yeah, I think this is a monster card. I don't want the deck. I don't even want your deck around because you're going to be doing some shenanigans and you're going to have delve stuff and you're going to be able to manipulate the board game in a way that I'm not gonna. I don't want to sit across and let you just have free reign. So I'd rather you just die first. So in that case, I'm putting him with S. And uh-oh. Oh, because I opened another tab. I was like, oh no, I only have 2 cards, but I have 3 tabs open. But we're good. Uh, you Urini, the song unending. This is a song that never ends. It is an 8 drop, which is a lot, but it's a 10/10, which is the biggest creature in the legendary creatures from Tarkir. This guy is a huge dude. Um, he has flying, protection from white, and from black. White and black are the best removal spells in the game, and he's like, not me. Uh, this is absolutely amazing. Uh, a lot of protection built into this card already. He is really expensive to cast, so you kind of have to like let him try. When he enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. Okay. Um, that's fun. Presumably you have 6, 7, 8 lands when he comes out, so dealing 8 damage plus is neat. This guy sucks to deal with if you kill him and he comes back again. Uh, but you also don't want a 10/10 just flying around the battlefield all willy-nilly. Um, so this is a monster commander to deal with and to have on the battlefield. You definitely can't just let him live. The second ability is fine. It's a really fun ability. It's definitely not nothing. It doesn't hit me, so I'm less impressed with it. It only happens once, unless you flicker him, which is possible, or you do some other shenanigans, or he dies and comes back. Um, if you can exploit this ability with like a flicker effect or something like that, then it gets really problematic because he's just going to clear the board every time while having this monster of a dragon on the field. And you obviously don't want that. Um, I don't see the deck being super, unless they're just going a pure ramp, in which case you just have to kill him because yeah, a pure ramp deck, you're gonna have to kill him fast because if you don't, this guy's gonna outpace you, and then he's gonna get this guy out before you really have any real way to stop him, and he's just gonna run a train through you. So I would say like an A plus, but for the most part, I think I'm just gonna keep him as an A. There's a lot of A's, a lot of A's in this, a lot of like powerful commanders. Um, and last but certainly, excuse me, not least, Zurgo Thunder's Decree. I don't like this guy. Not the card, the guy. I don't like Zurgo. I'm a Narset simp, and this guy killed my boo. So we have a love-hate relationship. He is very powerful, though. He's always been very powerful. Well, except his second card wasn't as powerful, but that first card was pretty doozy. And this one is, we'll just get into it. So for 3, you have a 2/4, solid. Mobilize 2 whenever this creature attacks. Create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior. That's important. Creature tokens. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. His second ability says, during your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. So can't rules override can rules, my favorite magic rule. And so what this guy does is let you bring out 2 1/1 red attacking creatures. And they don't get sacrificed. There's also a lot of mobilized cards in the new set. Obviously, there's a whole archetype built around him. And so, or not around him, but around Mobilize. So this guy can get out of hand quicker than you want it to. If you're a slow deck, he will destroy you. He's not here for the long haul. He's trying to smoke a cigarette as quick as he can and move on to his day. And to be honest, the rest of the deck is going to support him, but it's also going to be fast as well. So he comes out, he's winning faster. You kill him, that's fine. He'll play him again when he can, but in the meantime, go ahead and take 6+ damage. Um, this is an S tier deck. I think he's going to be a monster. Um, and you can see two aggro decks in the S tier, one control deck. A lot of options for A. Again, any of the A's can build correctly, can go into the S. Um, Couple of Bs. They're just, again, the Bs could be A's easily. C's, fun mechanic wise maybe, or a fun build, but not really going to be. I'm not afraid of you if you sit down at a table with any of those. And then D, I mean, Please don't build that commander unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, build that commander. Show me, and I'll repent. Uh, but otherwise, guys, this is going to wrap up our tier listing for Tarkir Dragonstorm. This list will be available in the description in case you ever want to refer back to it for whatever reason. But anyway, see you guys later. Peace.